Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Kat, and in January this year, 2021, on the 9th of January, which is my birthday, myself, my husband and my son Taylor moved from the UK to Canada, and this is my 3-month update just to tell you guys how we're getting on, how the processes have been. You will probably have seen, or you may or may not have seen, my previous vlogs telling you different stories along the way and different dramas that we've had, from the car situation to getting here. But now we have been here for 3 months. I'm sorry guys that I haven't done any vlogs recently. Life has been stressful, so I'm not going to lie. Everything is not, oh my god, we've moved to Canada and everything's perfect and life starts again. COVID is still a thing. Things get depressing, and college, work and kids, it just all becomes on top of you. So now I'm at the point where I'm feeling better and I'm ready to share with you all of the ups and downs that we've had. So as you can see, I've got new hair, Miracle Grow, I'm only joking. So I've got hair extensions, so try to make myself feel better. I've got my nails done. I am trying, mum and dad. I haven't got eyelashes, so I'm kind of trying to meet everyone in the middle and not spend too much money because it's locked down. So we are now Taylor is now home from school because we are on the April break. So the week break was supposed to be in March, but they have delayed it to April because of COVID. We have now found out today, probably in the last 45 minutes, I have now found out that school is not going back. And the schools in Ontario here are now closed indefinitely. So we have no idea what that means for Taylor, his friends. So at the moment, we're just in limbo waiting. So it's back to online learning for Taylor. I have moved over here and I'm doing a college course with the Georgian College. Since January I started, and I have been learning online remotely. As it stands at the moment, there are rumours that we may go back in September, hopefully, but that's not set in stone and there's nothing clear about that, so we don't know quite what's happening. So breathe, just to break it down what's happened. So we moved over in January, we done the quarantine for 2 weeks in an Airbnb, and we're now living with my cousin in Innisfil, which is Innisfil Barrie area in Ontario. So we sold our house in the UK and we're looking to hopefully purchase a house out here. Just to let everyone know who is in the same boat and is going to be coming from the UK to Canada in the means of buying a property out here, it's near on impossible. Not impossible, nothing's impossible, because if you've got lots of money, then you'll be absolutely fine. But we sold our house and have got a good amount of deposit. However, the market out here has gone through the roof. So we believe that it's due to COVID. This only happened since COVID. So everybody has been moving from Toronto. So they've been wanting to get out of the densely populated city areas due to COVID and move to the snowbelt and rural areas such as Innisfil and Barrie. So that has meant that property prices have gone through the roof. So me and Scott went to look at a few houses already with an agent. We looked at 3 different properties. All of them were advertised at, I think, at like 499,000 Canadian dollars. When we viewed the property, the agent had already said we would never get the house for the asking price, which makes me think, why on earth would you advertise a property at a certain price if you would not accept that price? So in England, like, this wouldn't happen. I worked as an estate agent for 13 years, and if you put a property up for sale and somebody offered you that price, I mean, of course you'd take that price. Here, so what they do is they will show loads of different people, and there will be loads of people looking for the same house at the same time, and then say, so we viewed these properties, say, on the 26th of March. on the 28th of March, that would be the day here where everybody who has viewed that property over the last week or 2 weeks, they would all put in their offer, and the owner would then choose, obviously, the highest offer. But you have got no idea what other people are going to bid, and you just have to give your best price and see if you win the property. Now, that completely stressed me out, because I'm thinking we can afford to buy the property at, say, 500,000 Canadian, but we can't afford, like, there are houses that are put on at 499,000 and are selling at 675,000 Canadian dollars, nearly 200 grand over asking price. To me, that's just mental. So one of the houses around the corner from us went up for sale for 700 and something thousand, sold for over $1 million. So there is no chance of me and Scott being able to buy a house round in this area at the moment, which is sad because Taylor likes the school, I love the area, but it's just not going to work out for us being in this area. So then we thought, okay, so that's the house buying out of the window for round here at the moment, because my thought is that even if we were to buy a house at whatever price we'd have to pay for a house, you could then be in negative equity. So the house that sold around here for $1 million, that house has never been worth $1 million, and people paying over $1 million could get in financial difficulties after everything comes back to normal. They could then be in negative equity, and then like that would just be no fun. So that is not something that I wanted to entertain. So then there's the idea of renting. So I did look at rental houses for after we leave here. How much will it cost to rent a house? So I can tell you in this area at the moment, if we wanted to rent a basement, so you could have a 1 or a 2 bedroom basement, that's going to be anywhere between sort of like 1,400 Canadian dollars a month to say 2,000 Canadian dollars a month. And then if we wanted a house, so ideally when we move out of here, I want to live in a house with a garden for Simba. That is going to be probably in this area about 2,500 Canadian dollars a month. The issue you've then got is you're in the same issue as with buying. You'll have hundreds of people all looking for the same property, and then the landlord will, you have to fill in a rental application, and then out of everybody's rental application, the landlord will then choose who he thinks is going to be the best tenant. Now, us with a dog, we're already at a disadvantage. The other thing is credit score. So I discussed sort of limited in my previous vlogs about credit score. You come over here to Canada. I had a glowing credit score in the UK, and I've come over to Canada and you start from scratch. So I had a non-existent credit score. I've now got a credit score, but it's fair to good at the moment. So I've not done anything to damage my credit score. I'm doing everything I can to improve my credit score, but I can't get credit. So I have been recommended to get 2 credit cards because I've got a credit card with my bank. I've tried to get another credit card, but nowhere has accepted me for another credit card yet because I'm still classed as like a new person in Canada with a bit of a lousy credit score. So I'm not being accepted. Whereas in England, God, I didn't want a credit card, but if I applied for a credit card, they'd give it to me with like 15,000 English pounds on it straight away for my first credit card because I had a good credit score. Whereas here, it's very, very difficult. So I've got my mobile phone. I've got a mobile phone bill that I pay. I've got a SIM card. It's very hard and you will struggle to get an actual device, a phone, but you will be able to get a contract on your plan. So I've got the mobile phone plan. I pay that off monthly to help with my credit score, and I use my credit card for things like groceries, and then I pay it off straight away in full because I don't like having the debt. And somebody recommended to me to just do minimum payments, but that freaks me out. I would rather just clear it so I've got 0 on my credit card, but I'm still using it and paying off to improve my credit score. So my credit score will get renewed again in May. So we arrived in January, and it's probably going to take me until May to improve my credit score. But again, by May, I should hopefully have a good credit score with what I've been working towards. And then hopefully I will then be able to open up another credit card and I can build my credit report further. So that is the issue of housing. So we're all up in the air about what to do. We don't know where we're going to go when we leave here. Jobs wise, so myself and Scott have both got jobs. Because I'm in college, I'm in full-time college, which means that I can work 20 hours a week. So I've got myself a part-time job in Barry. I won't tell you exactly where I work for obvious reasons, but I am working in a women's homeless shelter. My husband, Scott, he has just changed jobs. So he was working in a homeless shelter in Barry as well, but he has now recently moved and he has got a job as a security guard supervisor. This is all sort of an interim job for him because we are currently waiting for him to be posted into a job within the prison service out here. So he's through to the final vetting. And then once the vetting's complete, they will then give him his job posting and tell him where he's going to work. But that is going to dictate really whereabouts we go in Ontario, because his options were Brampton, Hamilton, Etobicoke. So it's all kind of south, nearer to Toronto. And I don't want to live in the city, so we'll then have to work around different areas and suss out different locations and see where we're going to fit best. So that is our housing drama. We're all over the place and it has been really stressful, and I have been worrying about it because before we moved out here and when we chose Canada, everything was a lot more easy to obtain for us and everything was a lot cheaper. Since we've moved, it's just so happened, of course it would, it's us, sod's law, like housing prices have risen and like to unbelievable amount. And that's not so realistic for us. So we're just going to have to wait it out and see what happens. The other stress that we've had is the car situation. So I've got my car and my car has been fine, no issues. I think I did mention on one of my other vlogs that it had a couple of spots of rust, which was crazy because I've only just bought the car end of January or beginning of February. I got my car. But the roads out here are just crazy. So they're full of salt. So all of the cars rust out here. You can't help it. You're supposed to get your car rust proofed. But anyway, in the back door of my new car, the whole bottom panel had flaked off in rust. So I did complain to Barry Ford, who I bought the car through, and said, look, I accept like a spot of rust here and there that has arrived, but such a large piece that would have already been there, that would have already been an issue when they sold me the car. So they were really, really good about it. And they took my car in and they completely resprayed the panel. In the meantime, they gave us a hire car, and the hire car that they gave us was a Jeep Wrangler. Now, immediately we fell in love with the car. Scott, have never seen him so happy driving home in the hire car that we got. And he is now determined that he wants a Jeep Wrangler. So because he's working full time, we thought, okay, it's easy. We'll go down to the car garage, you can choose your car and then we can set it up. You can get a lease or you can get finance. However, anybody that is coming over on a visa and not permanent residency needs to be aware you will not get car finance out here. Well, you will, but you can only get it up until the expiry date of your visa. Now, at the moment, because of how it works out with the schooling, I'm here for a 2-year study visa. I come here in January, but the visa already expires next July, so July 2022, because that is when the end of my 2-year college course is. I will then be entitled to a 3-year post-grad work permit. However, car garages do not take this into account, and they would only give us car finance for say like we're looking at a 12-month period now between now and next summer. And if you put that into relation to the amount of money that you want to borrow or lease on a car, the payments would be through the roof and unreal. So we're now stuck in a situation where we've got the one car between us, I've got work, and Scott's got work. And if Scott's got work today and he's out and I've had no car, so it's kind of difficult running on one car between you. You need the two. So then we thought we didn't want to dip in too much to our money that we've got because we want to use that as a deposit for the next house that we buy. But at the same time, we do need another car, and there is no chance that I've spoken to any kind of different person out here. There is no way that we can get car finance because they will only allow it for the period that our visa is. So that's out of the question. So we would have to buy a car outright in full. So we're now looking at an older used car. Now, we went to look at an old car at the weekend, I think it was. Scott, I couldn't even believe it that he knew what he was looking for. He climbed underneath the car and said, oh, there's a leak, an oil leak from something underneath the car. Also, rust is a big issue. So there was a part on the floor. So he looked at this car and then he almost put his hand through the floor of the car because of the rust that was in there. So it's really difficult because I don't want to buy a heap of junk that we're going to have to keep on plowing money into. And then we may as well have paid more money, but at the same time, I'm trying to safeguard my money because I want to keep as much of that as possible for when we do actually find ourselves a house. The next drama that we've got is the constant yo-yo of the lockdown system out here. So we arrived in January and it was a stay-at-home order. No one was allowed to go out, which is fine. That's understandable. It's COVID. So I got to my cousins shortly after the lockdown was lifted. They then opened up the shopping malls and we could go shopping, which was great. They then opened up the restaurants with limited capacity seating. They then, like a week or 2 weeks later, they then closed back down the restaurants. The malls stayed open. And now we're at a point where they reopened the restaurants, shut the restaurants, reopened them, shut them, closed the malls, and now we're at a complete stay-at-home order with no malls, nothing apart from essential services. So at the moment, April 12th, we have got school closures. We have got the only thing that we can do is go to the shop to get food. We can go to the pharmacy and the drive-thrus are open, but nothing else is open. So I've got the kids are off of school, and Taylor and his friend from next door are constantly in and out of the house, and there is now nothing for them to do. And it's just typical that it's April and April showers. So the rain is probably here for the next week. Now, at the weekend that we've just had, on the Saturday, we kind of celebrated Taylor's birthday, and our neighbours 5 doors down have got a swimming pool, and Taylor spent pretty much the whole day in their swimming pool. He was even in their swimming pool at 9 o'clock at night. Now, I was in a hoodie and shorts, so it wasn't that hot, but the temperature during the day was hot. I got a bit of a suntan. Well, I say suntan, a bit burnt. And Taylor was just absolutely loving it. And now the weather has completely changed the other way and it's raining all the time. But the lockdown has kind of made me a bit miserable because, like, I haven't been this heavy in weight for years. Like, I can't even remember ever being this heavy. And I think it's just through lockdown. I'm going to blame COVID. I mean, like, we've all got to blame someone. I'm blaming COVID. So COVID has shut the gyms. Not that I'm really a gym bunny as such, but I like doing the classes. So just before all of this happened and before the lockdown, I'd literally just joined the YMCA, the local YMCA. Sounds funny, but it's like a big leisure centre. So it's got a swimming pool. I signed Taylor up. So I was taking Taylor for swimming lessons. He loved it. He was in the advanced swimming lessons. He wants to train to be a lifeguard. And I went to like a yoga class and it was really good. And then this happens, and now the leisure centre is completely shut. Taylor can't do his swimming lessons. The only good thing is that they don't charge or take the money when it's in lockdown, but that's not the point. I'd still rather be actually doing something and exercising. So I've woke up this morning and I'm just going to change my attitude, because I feel that I've been really quite down recently and I've let all of the stresses in life get on top of me, and that's why I haven't been vlogging. And I woke up this morning and I thought, this is what it is. COVID is not going anywhere soon, and I just need to get on with life and enjoy it. Coming to Canada was a massive thing for me and my family, and I want it to work, and of course it will work. It's just, this shows you that life, you're not just going to leave England, get over to Canada, and everything's going to work out perfectly. If it does, then congratulations, well done guys. But from my perspective, you can see that things are hard, and they can be really quite hard, and you just have to get on with it. And I made this choice, and it wasn't an easy choice leaving England. And now that we're here, I just have to push forward and fight for what we want and where we want to be. And that's what I'm going to do. So today I woke up, I would say nice and early, but 8 o'clock, because Taylor's not got school today. So I woke up at 8 o'clock and thought, right, I'm going to put on a different mind frame. I went on to my college course. I wrote 2 essays this morning, done like a quiz, done a test, and just was so much more productive when I'm in a better mind frame. So previously, an essay would take me ages to write because I'd have like a brain block. I'd sit here, I'd get distracted, I'd make myself a coffee. But today I've literally just cracked on, and I feel so much better from it because I've got things sorted. So the only thing that I need to sort out now is what we're going to do about the car. The housing I've kind of just left because it will depend on where Scott gets his job, and then we can decide where we want to be. The job situation, well, for me, I'm okay. I only work part-time, so it doesn't matter what I do until the end of my college course, and then I'll have to decide what's going to get me the best points moving forward for going for PR. Because I did speak to an immigration consultant, I think it was last week, and it said, what's the situation? Is there anything I can do now that I'm here to help me? And they've literally said that I have to wait until I finish my college course. So that's the end of July next year. I then have to get myself a job as soon as I can and be in that job for 1 year. And then once I've been in the job for 1 year and I've got the 2-year college course behind me, then I am then entitled to go for PR. She said that because I'm on a three-year postgrad work permit, if for any reason I didn't get accepted in attempt number 1 after my first year, I then apply the 2nd year and I can then apply the 3rd year. But they did make it sound like it was pretty much quite hopeful that after your first time of applying, by which time Scott would have had 3 years work experience in Canada, and hopefully by then definitely be in the prison system, we stand a much more higher chance of actually getting the PR. And then once I've got PR, things will be easier, less stressful. We can get a brand new Jeep Wrangler if we want to get a brand new Jeep Wrangler because we can afford it on finance. But so now through to my last section, which is interesting facts about Canada. So if somebody says to you, have you got a toque? Your toque is your woolly winter hat. So in England, your warm winter hat with your little pom-pom on the top. Out here, that's called a toque. Now, if you go in a hot tub out here, because we've got a hot tub in the back garden and quite a few people do have hot tubs, you will need, when it's snowing and it's cold and freezing outside, I would always recommend that you wear that toque because your hair will have icicles on it and it can snap. So however ridiculous it looks to get in a swimsuit or a bikini with your winter bobble hat on, do it to protect your hair. The other interesting thing that I have learned is they don't have, like in the US, you have like $1 bills, or they used to have $1 bills. Over here, you've got $1 and $2 coins. Now, your $1 coin is called a loonie. Don't ask me why, I'm not entirely sure. But your $1 coin is a loonie. The $2 is a toonie. So you've got a loonie and a toonie in your wallet. Canucks or Canucks is another word for Canadians. The national dish out here, which I have to say I haven't had because it just doesn't sound that appealing to me, is poutine, which is like French fries covered in gravy and cheese curds, but that's a bit too carby for me. But I think Scott's had the poutine and he said it's really nice. That's just a bit too carby and not quite my cup of tea. Being here in Canada, it's strange because we have got lower population than the UK. So the UK has got a lot more people living there, but Canada is the second largest country in the world. It's got the longest shoreline, and the longest road is 4,700 miles long. Another thing out here that they've got is a lot of drive-throughs, but I've seen a drive-through cannabis store, I've seen a drive-through pharmacy, drive-through bank. So I've used the drive-through bank because they've got one around the corner. You literally just drive up in your car, and then it's just so convenient putting your card in, taking your money out. It's a lot better than parking in a high street and then going to find the cash point like I used to do in England. It's just a completely different way of life out here, and it is more outdoors. So what I will say for mums coming over from the UK to Canada, when we were living in the UK, Taylor spent a lot of time on the Xbox, and that was a concern for me because getting him off would always be a mission. Out here, I can't persuade him to use his Xbox. He spends all of his time outside. He has become completely an outdoor child and wants to be on the go every minute of every day. He is now into hockey. He's into ice hockey. He's into basketball. He's into football, or as they call it, soccer. He has got hoverboards that I bought for his birthday. So his birthday was on Friday, just gone. He wanted a hoverboard. He also wanted the go-kart seat for the hoverboard, and he spends all of his time outside with his friends that live in the street, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So I have had a lot of stresses, and there have been a lot of issues from moving over here, but they don't outweigh all of the positives. These are just little snagging issues that I have to get through before I can relax and enjoy my move. So I would still 100% recommend anybody moving from the UK to Canada. I think you just have to do a bit of research. Think about these things like the car and the finance situation. If you're coming over here, you will need, unless you've got a really long visa or you've got something that's open without any end date, you are going to think about how you're going to afford to pay for your car outright. I've now got an issue, well, it's not an issue. I need to get my contact lenses, which is why I've got my big glasses on my head. So I've run out of contact lenses. Costco is the best place out here to go and get contact lenses. Everything you buy in Costco, you have like a membership card and it's a lot cheaper. But in order for them to give me my contact lenses, even though I know what my prescription is, they need to have a physical copy of my prescription. I don't even think I brought that from England. If I did, then I've got no idea where I've put it. But I now, in order to get my contact lenses, I need to get my eyes tested. And with this new lockdown, I don't even know that the opticians are open or doing eye tests. So I'm kind of in limbo and having to wear my glasses all the time. And then you've got the whole glasses and mask situation, and that's just another nightmare. Anyway, I have waffled on a lot, and I'm sorry about that, guys, but this is just to tell you all about my time that I've been here for the last 3 months. If you have any questions, because I know I've waffled on, but there's probably things that I haven't remembered because so much has been going on. If I've forgotten anything or you guys think of anything that you want to ask me, please put it in the comments below. And if you would like to continue watching my vlogs and see how we get on and see how time progresses, then please like and subscribe and continue watching. Thanks, guys.